Hello guys, I'm back. Watch has been dropped off and I am now on my way to one of my second income streams, as it were, which brings me to my next point I would like to talk about. I have read, heard, and seen people, mostly the younger people, talk and complain about not being able to survive in Northwest Florida and Florida in general. A lot of them complain that there's no job opportunities here and that they just can't make it. The cost of living's too high, and they end up living with mom and dad or being homeless or what have you. I will admit there are there is a significant homeless population here in Pensacola. However, I will also say that the opportunities for making money here are there. It's simply a matter of going out and doing it. Where I come from, in rural Arkansas, the income possibilities were different. There weren't as many, honestly. If you weren't a farmer and you didn't want to work at a factory or in a restaurant, you just basically didn't have a job. Very, very, very few white-collar positions were available in Arkansas. However, here in Florida, it's quite the opposite. It's more geared toward white-collar people. There are more opportunities for people with degrees, especially in the service industry, tourism, social work, education, and what have you. There's not very many factories here, I'll admit that. There aren't that many well-paying blue-collar jobs here. If you can't or don't want to work in the restaurant or tourism industry, or you don't have a degree in some field that will allow you to work at an office somewhere, for example, you're probably not going to be very successful here. However, there is a misconception that the cost of living here is considerably more, and I'm here to tell you that that's just not true. As I said, I came from rural Arkansas. The cost of living in rural Arkansas, where I came from, the little small town, average rent is between $600 and $700 a month for a ramshackle house or maybe an apartment somewhere. Utilities were typically about the same. Now, granted, rent here for a house is more, especially if you want to live in a nice house. Rent here runs between $900 and $1,200 a month for a decent house in a lower middle class or lower income neighborhood. Of course, if you want to live on the beach, you're going to pay to live on the beach. The closer you are to the water, the more expensive the cost of living. However, the things you can do here to make money are considerably more varied. If you don't want to work in the restaurant industry, for example, go DoorDash, Uber or Lyft. Do a rideshare. You can do that here and make fairly decent money. You can actually make a living on just being a contract worker for rideshare companies. It's just really that simple. I use DoorDash as one of my side hustles. And I can make pretty good money at it if I plan ahead and schedule myself for the busy hours where you get the best bonuses and what have you. I could technically survive on that if need be. Another advantage here is there are other side jobs type things. For example, I donate plasma twice a week, and a lot of people look down at it. Oh, it's crackheads and drug users type income. Well, maybe so, but I am an anti-D donor. My plasma goes to help um, pregnant women with RH factor issues with their babies. So it helps people, and I get paid fairly decently for doing it. Obviously, I make more than the average person who's not anti-D, as it were, but it's just one of those things. It took me a year to build up the requirements, I guess you'd say, to prove that I was a stable donor before I could get into the anti-D program. Plus, my blood type is a negative RH factor, which is another requirement. I'm specifically O negative. So, yeah, it wasn't something I just stepped into and started doing. I had to work at it for a little bit to get where I am. And although it won't pay my mortgage or the bulk of my bills by any stretch by its own self, it will pay a bill if need be, or a car payment if I needed to. And it also helps support my varied hobbies with my reef tanks, marine tanks, my fishing hobbies, and it even helped me purchase the equipment that I'm using to start this YouTube channel, which brings me to my third revenue stream. If this pans out the way I hope that it does, my other side hustle, donating plasma and what have you, and ride sharing, will have led to a third and hopefully more profitable income stream through YouTube. I know here in Pensacola alone there are several well-to-do YouTube, or I guess you'd call them YouTubers. I guess that makes me a YouTuber now. Obviously they're much younger than I am. One is the young couple that drive around the Mario Kart Lamborghinis. There's a couple of people who have fishing channels here, and they seem to be very, very successful, especially the young couple, obviously, to be in your early 20s and be able to afford to go purchase two, not one, but two Lamborghinis. It's mind-boggling. When I was 20, I was struggling just to pay rent, and then when I joined the Army, it was just, well, let's just say I never thought I would ever, and I still don't think I would ever be able to afford to just go out and buy a $250,000 car just because, I want to. It's mind-boggling. I'm happy with my Toyota pickup. I'll probably stick with it. But anyway, so I watched my previous video and I noticed my air conditioner was blowing really loud. You can also hear my motor when I take off one heavy. I currently don't have an external microphone for this telephone. That's something I'm probably going to have to look into in order to continue using it successfully in my truck as I drive. Also for my Hero 8, I've got the media mod on the way for it, and I will be able to use a mic with it. So whenever I begin using that in my truck and other places, hopefully my audio will improve. I don't have a studio set up in my house yet. That is something that I have in the works, and whenever I get ready to start building that, I'm going to make a video of me actually putting that together and put that up as well. I know I've seen several people, my son is one of them, who have expressed an interest in YouTube channels, and I'm hoping that by me documenting my stages, my development as it were, the things that I do to set this up and get it going, I'm hoping that I can help other people do this. All the videos I've watched so far, and they're very helpful, very, very helpful videos, but all of them that I've watched are tutorials made by people who have already achieved success. They have thousands and thousands of subscribers. They've been doing this for a year, 2 years, 3 years or more, and they they're speaking from their experience, and that makes it a very good information. But I've not been able to find any videos documented from the point of a person who is just now starting and documenting their progress through this whole experience. So hopefully this unique perspective will help somebody. My achievements, my failures, my mistakes, as it were, and obviously, hopefully, success can help somebody else do the same thing. I'm obviously not a new guy or a young guy. I mean, I'm 50. I'm not old, but on the other hand, I'm not fresh out of high school either. So I've got a little bit of life experience under my belt, and I hope that I'm able to use that to enhance this channel as well. I know at this point my niche is not really established. I was hoping and thinking about doing a fishing channel where most of my videos are of me going out and fishing various places in and around Northwest Florida. I especially like going down to Fort Pickens, Pensacola Beach. I live up by Escambia Bay, and so that's another option I could possibly go to, and just see if I could make a successful channel on that. But the more I think about it, the more I wonder if maybe just focusing on fishing would be very wise at this point. School might start, depending on the coronavirus, in just a couple of weeks, and that's going to obviously take up a large portion of my time going into the fall and winter seasons, which means my available time for making videos is going to shrink down to evenings and or weekends. So opportunities to get out on the water and go fishing are going to evaporate pretty quickly. So I'm going to have to figure out something else, which leads me to what I'm doing right now, which is basically vlogging while I'm driving around, going from one side hustle to the next, or basically about my chores. If any of this information is useful to you, I'm happy. If there's anything that I could possibly make a video about that you'd be interested in or would like to hear more about, please don't forget to comment. Also, this is obviously an extremely new channel. My only 2 subscribers are myself and my wife. So just simply liking and subscribing to my channel is really an extremely big help, if you would not mind doing that as well. If that is what I'm telling you is helpful in any way. And so I'm getting ready to pull in and go to this plasma donation, and I will continue making entries when I get done.